Today I want to talk about scarves. I am a scarf wearer, and I realize from all the work I do with women that a lot of women are not scarf wearers. And in most cases, this is similar to me to not being someone who eats chocolate. I kind of don't understand the type of woman who doesn't wear a scarf. So I'm going to plead my case. I'm going to share why I think pretty much everybody should wear scarves. And I'd love to hear kind of from you. If you don't wear a scarf and you hate scarves or, really don't try them, why not? What's your reasoning? Because I'm totally open to both sides. Probably won't change my personal scarf wearing habit, but I'd love to know. So first and foremost, one of the main reasons I wear scarves is because I am an admitted Francophile. I love all things French. And to me, there's not much more French than a scarf, with the exception of stripes. And I often wear stripes with scarves. So that's kind of where it started for me. I don't know that I wore scarves all that much other than as a kid to play outside in the snow until college, when I went to Paris for the first time and realized that pretty much all year long, French women wear scarves. I was there in May for the first time and then was there, have been there multiple times since. And really all year long, French women wear scarves or have a scarf with them, either tied to their bag, tucked in their bag, so that if the temperature changes, indoor, outdoor, whatever, they can put it on. So for me, the number one reason is because I am always dreaming of being French. And so a scarf is kind of the quickest way to that. I want to talk about a few things today. I'm not specifically going to spend a lot of time styling scarves because I feel like there are lots of videos on how to do that by people who do it better than I do. I tend to be pretty simple in the way I wear a scarf, kind of throw it on, a little schlumpy, just kind of go. So it's not going to be specifically a tutorial on how to wear a scarf, but I will show you the couple ways that I tend to do it most often. It's more going to be kind of the basics of scarf wearing and choosing scarves and that sort of thing. So the first thing I want to mention is fabric and texture. I think that's sometimes where women get lost or a little stuck and then decide to scrap it all together. It is important to pay attention to the fabric, the textile itself. So I don't wear wool. Wool itches me. So as someone who doesn't wear wool in the winter, if I'm wearing a scarf that is sort of for outdoors only with a winter coat, I tend to go for acrylics or thick chunky cottons, things that'll give me warmth but aren't wool, so they won't itch. So, and indoors, when I'm wearing a scarf with an outfit, because there are kind of two ways to wear scarves, if I back up a little bit. You can either wear it as part of outerwear when it's truly cold, like a little kid playing in the snow, and you really need to keep the wind from going down your jacket, and you wear a scarf. The other way is as part of an outfit where you wear the scarf as an extra layer to add interest to whatever the outfit is you have on. That's more how I tend to wear a scarf, because then it also keeps me warm with my jacket when I'm going in and out of a store or in and out of a building. But it adds interest when I'm inside the building. It tends to stay on. It also gives me the flexibility, especially right now as the seasons change, to have a scarf on in the morning when it's cooler and then take it off and put it on my front seat while I'm running errands as I'm starting to warm up, as the day warms up. So the fabric, paying attention to what fabrics you like and how those fabrics behave, because different fabrics have different drapeability. And I feel like the most important thing for the fabric of a scarf is that it's soft and drapey, because if it's not soft and drapey, you tend to get that kind of stiff, boxy thing happening, and that's not flattering and it doesn't feel good. So soft and drapey, and pay attention to the fabrics. If you're like me and you don't wear wool, just be mindful of that so that you're always buying something that's soft and drapey but that is not wool. The next thing is color and or pattern. So if you're someone who tends to wear a lot of solids, then you might want to bring in a pattern in your scarf so that it adds a little interest without much effort, and it will pretty easily go with the things in your closet. So this one is a little bit outside of my normal wheelhouse because I tend to wear a lot of blues and greens, and this obviously is not. This scarf came from Paris. I actually also bought it in sort of blues and greens, kind of pale blue and aquas and a little bit of gold. And I wore it so much that it now has kind of drooped. So it is packed away in a treasure box because I absolutely love it, but I don't really wear it very often because it doesn't hold its shape. It kind of is a little too limp. I could iron it and starch it and probably get it, a few more wears out of it, but I've decided to retire it and just wear the red one, the orangey red one. I do like this one for a pop of color now and then. It's just not one that it's not a color I go to very often. So I don't want to put too many things in my scarf wardrobe that wouldn't go with all of my clothes. And the other thing is, when you do either a solid or a pattern, you want to make sure that it's in your wheelhouse, and that if you're going for a pattern, like I wear a lot of stripes, and so I would wear, say, this scarf with a classic blue and white striped shirt. You want to, if you want a pattern mix, you can do it with a scarf pretty easily, because it's kind of a low-key, easy to remove investment in the outfit or in the purchase in the first place, so that you can play with pattern mixing without, having to invest in a blazer or something that is going to be a more substantial item. So then the next thing is shape. And with shape, like this one, for instance, I think that a narrow rectangle is the best option. Long, but not too long, unless you're really tall. So take into consideration your own size and shape, because taller women can wear a longer scarf without it overpowering them, where if you're more petite and you have a really long scarf, it's going to drape down really long. Pay attention to your bust. I don't happen to be very busty, and so I can wear a chunky scarf kind of all up around here and not feel overpowered by it, but that isn't true for women who have a larger bust. They need to be more mindful of not adding too much texture and volume up there. So kind of a big rectangle is the easiest to find usually, and the easiest to wear. This one is almost too big for me to wear in real life inside for very long. I tend to keep it in my front hall closet and wear it when I'm going out and it's a little cooler, and I might keep it on when I go into a store, but I might also take it off and stuff it in my bag. And that said, I want to share just a little tale and tip. I have a beautiful German woman who is a client of mine, and her sister lives in Germany. She lives in the US. Her sister lives in Germany. They're talented seamstresses, so they do it themselves, but they suggested also that you could take the scarf to a tailor. They split a scarf down the middle so that in the end, they have a scarf that is this wide instead of this wide. So they find a scarf they love, they split it down the middle and have it stitched so that it's finished on the edge. And then one sister has one half in Germany and the other sister has the other half in the US. So they get to share the same scarf and have the right width. If the scarf is wide when they start out, they chop it in half. I just thought that was kind of a cool idea. I haven't ever done that yet, but I think it's kind of neat to be able to share a scarf with someone. So let's see. This one is more kind of my favorite size because it's not too crazy wide. So it tends to fold in half really easily and not bulk up too much. When I wear a scarf, my most common way of wearing it is just folding it in half and then kind of grabbing it at a quarter. So I'm at the half and then kind of the quarter and putting that part behind my neck and then literally looping it around my neck again. And if I want these ends to kind of not flap away, then I would just tie them. And I'm not looking at a mirror, so not sure how well I'm zhuzhing this, but then I would just kind of zhuzh it and often then kind of turn the knots off to the side just to let them drape and give a little bit of asymmetry to the look. But this size is just kind of the right size. It's about a foot long, just kind of the right width, foot wide, just kind of the right width to be able to drape really easily. So the next thing is shape. So I talked a little bit, I think we already started shape, but with regards to shape, there are infinity scarves, there are wider scarves, there are more neckerchief scarves, and then there are the big square scarves. So infinity scarves, I tend to do only outside as winter scarves. Like this is a more wintry scarf that I would wear outside with a winter coat. Super soft, not wool. But I don't usually wear these inside. They have their moment. They kind of come and go in style. It's not that you can't still wear an infinity scarf. It's just this one, obviously, because it's wintry, I would wear more with my winter coat. And I tend to like the feeling of being able to tie it and untie it. So I tend to not do infinity scarves as my indoor scarves. But if you have some, totally cool to keep wearing them. They are not out of style. I feel like scarves are, you can kind of pretty much do with, use whatever you've got. The next little topic here or category are kind of the little neckerchiefs. This one is from one of my very favorite friends in the whole world who recently gifted this to me. And the colors are fabulous and I love wearing it because it reminds me of her. And I usually take this kind and just fold it diagonally in half and then kind of roll it up a little bit. And you can roll it so that the point shows, or you can start with the point and roll it so that the point doesn't show, and then just kind of, again, tie it around and do it a little off center. I like it a little bit loose, just so that it's a little softer and doesn't feel quite so flight attendant-y, old school, flight attendant-y. Again, I'm not looking in a mirror, so I'm not sure how well I've done that, but you get the idea. I also discovered a couple of years ago sort of this shape that is, I guess it's truly a square, but it's permanently pleated and it's a little longer. So I feel like it just adds a little bit more softness, which I think is nice, that it hangs a little further away from my neck. And as I age and my neck gets kind of saggier and crinklier, there's part of me that thinks, oh, don't attract attention to that. And then I think, okay, let's be serious, who cares? This is a nice alternative to a necklace too. It gives you a little bit of warmth and you don't have to worry about, what kind of necklace you're wearing with a simple neckline. And this one I think is from Uniqlo. And this one was from Old Navy, same thing. It's a little bit of a bigger size, so it hangs just a little bit longer when I tie it and pull it kind of away from my neck, which I think is kind of nice. The most difficult scarf to wear, I think, and sadly, I have a couple incredibly beautiful ones, is sort of the silk square. This is Chanel, and it is amazing. And I think I might be best served to just frame it because I rarely wear it because it is so big, and it feels like such an kind of investment, such an investment in the look that day, if I choose to put it on. But it's stunning, and I really should just put it on more often. But I think that the silk, much as you can find them in vintage stores and they make amazing, you can buy them on vacation, sort of on street corners, especially in Paris. I think they're beautiful. I think they're a little harder to wear just because they feel a little matronly and a little frumpy unless you put on some ripped jeans and some cool booties and kind of just let the scarf do its thing with a really simple backdrop. But they are, come on, they're beautiful. Okay, scarf tying. So I will use this one to keep hoping that it's not itchy. So I usually fold them in half, take the long, I don't usually fold it actually, I just kind of grab it and crinkle it. I take, sort of halfway and then kind of, like I said, that kind of to the quarter, and then I loop that around the back of my neck. I loop this part around, and then I just loop the ends in one little knot and kind of zhuzh, and usually turn it a little bit and tighten it accordingly. If it's cold and I want it a little closer to my neck, fine. And if it's a little, not quite as chilly and I want it drapey, a little more drapey, terrific. You can also pull it all the way up and do one part over your shoulder and one part kind of draping down in the front. Another way that I sometimes wear a scarf if I'm feeling a little fancy is to just fold it in half and literally loop it around the back and take both pieces and loop them in the front. Just kind of keeps it all in one place. It also changes what you see of the scarf. So if your scarf is patterned, it changes which part you see or someone sees when they look at you. So it just can make it a little more interesting. This one, again, you can kind of put off to either side and put a coat over it if you wanted or a blazer over it. The other way that I sometimes wear a scarf if I'm feeling super fancy and or want it to stay put is kind of braided. And I'm not sure, I haven't done it in probably 6 months since I was really wearing scarves, in earnest back in the colder weather. So you fold it in half and you loop the half around your neck again. And then you kind of almost halfway in the back of your neck. You're going to take one piece and put it through here, and then you're going to twist this loop. And then you're going to take the other piece and put it through here. And then you're just going to kind of play with it till it gets where you want it to be. But see how it kind of almost looks braided in the front? Again, a little fancier, a little different if you want to try something. There are tons of videos out there on how to dramatically tie scarves. It is not usually my jam. So those are the ways I wear a scarf, but most often it is just literally loop it around my head and go. I probably could talk for another long time about scarves. So I'm going to save the last couple of things that I would like to share, and we will put that on a different day because this is already long enough. If you have any questions about scarves, let me know. And I would love to know if you're a scarf wearer, and if not, why not? Have a great day.